We're live now. Hey, Stephanie, welcome to my kitchen.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I cannot tell you how excited I am about today. For all of you who are joining us already, you are in for a real treat today. We are going to be talking about all things chatbots. I am just going to make sure that our audio is working here. Let's get us live here. Yep, we're good. Okay.
Awesome.
You know, when you're a solopreneur in a one-man shop here, you got multiple things going on.
Yes, I know how that
So
goes.
welcome everybody to our special event today. Today is titled Unlock the Power of ManyChat for Your Practice. I am here with chatbot expert Stephanie Rollins. Stephanie, you want to say hello to everyone?
Hi, everybody. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to be here. I feel like every time I do one of these, I get like butterflies in my stomach, but I absolutely love talking about chatbots, all things chat marketing. So I am super excited to be here. And I'm glad that everybody else is excited as well. So thank you so much for having me.
We had such a tremendous response to this event. And I would say it's for a couple of reasons, Stephanie. Number one, it's kind of a novel concept, even though ManyChat's been around for a while.
Yeah.
It's news, particularly to our members and my community. But
Mhm.
also, I used ManyChat to drive engagement and to drive people into our Facebook group, which we'll talk about. And it has encouraged so many people to join the Facebook group and really show up today for this event.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, welcome. Hey, Christy, Amy, Lisa, Marsha, lots of people joining us. Paula, great to see you.
Awesome.
Hi, Anju. Nice to see you, Anju. Okay, so our ManyChat expert is Stephanie Rollins. Stephanie, I would like you to answer 3 questions for me to get started
Sure.
today. I'd like you to let our guests in our kitchen know who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them. So let's start with who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Stephanie Rollins. I live in Atlanta with my husband and our 2 boys and our new pup, Coco.
So cute. I've
Who
seen
is
her. She's adorable.
she's just so stinking cute. I just love her so much.
That's great.
Yeah, but we live here in Atlanta. We've been here for about 6 years. Honestly, it's crazy to me that I'm even being positioned as an expert because this is just stuff that I absolutely love. And this is actually something that I fell into. So, Jeannie, you and I haven't talked about this, but a few years ago when I was working my 9 to 5, at the time I was working as an assistant and the girl who was running our chatbot campaigns had gotten fired. And so my boss just told me, you figure it out. So I was
I love
like, I have too much to do already. Like, I can't do this. But
Yeah.
once I started learning how to do it, I absolutely fell in love with it. So really, it ended up being like me falling into it, to me going to a few conferences, to me presenting to hundreds of people at conferences about chatbots, to me working to one of the best, probably if not the best chat marketing agency, and now running my own agency. So it
That's
has been a
amazing.
whirlwind, but it's been an amazing experience. This is something that I just fall more and more in love with every day because of the power behind this technology. So really, I'm an expert. I love this stuff, but I really fell into this by accident.
And so that's one of the things that you share with me and also with everybody who's on this event right now is the passion for what you do. Every
Yeah,
practitioner who is a member of our community is super passionate
yeah,
about what they do, and they're really just like anxious to get their messaging out there. And that's kind of what
yeah,
you're going to help us with today. And
totally.
by the way, that chatbot agency that you worked with was House of Bots, correct? Is that
School of
where you were?
Bots. Yep.
School of Bots.
Yep.
Sorry. House of Brock, I'm thinking, or School of Brock.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So yes. What was it again? I'm sorry.
School of
School of
Bots.
Bots.
Yep.
Exactly. So the number one agency, you were working with them, and so you're taking that expertise to your new agency. What is the
Yes.
name of your agency?
My agency's name is Chatbots Decoded.
Excellent. Love it. I love that. That's cool. Cool play on words.
Yeah.
All right. So who do you serve?
So my main avatar truly is busy business owners, typically solopreneurs that have good engagement on Instagram. So typically when I am looking at an ideal person to serve, I'm looking at a few things. Number one, are you active on social media? Because that's important. If we're running campaigns on Instagram and Facebook, we got to have some activity.
You actually have to answer the DMs that
Yeah,
people do
exactly.
because
Like we have to have
people. people do send you DMs, and if you're not active, it's not going to work.
Absolutely.
Right? Got it. So it doesn't mean you have to have like 10,000 followers, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
No. As long as you're active on social media, you're paying attention to your inbox, you're paying attention to your comments, you're nurturing relationships with people, it's going to be so much easier for you to have really effective chat marketing campaigns. So you definitely need to be active on social media. Definitely need to have somebody working with you to create content, or at least, some different content ideas that we can test out. One of the big things with me is like, I really like to work with my clients and figure out what they want to promote for the month. That's going to be most effective for them. So that I can build out those campaigns for them. But it's really important for us to kind of collaborate on those things, because you have certain things that you want, but I know of certain things that may be a little bit more effective. So it's important for us to be collaborative in that, right? So.
Great. So you serve people who are active on social media, or I would say even people who are getting started, right? Who are looking to get more active on social media.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
People do have to be paying attention, right? Like
absolutely.
You at the foundation, you need to buy into, social media as a vehicle for attracting your ideal clients. Now I'm talking to my community right now, but I know you agree. Like you just have to buy into that is one of the ways that you're going to attract your ideal clients. So we support our community with all kinds of social media content, which is awesome, because if they work with you, all they have to do is say, "Oh, I think I want to." It's kind of like a playground. Like you're going to go into you're going to go into the sandbox, everybody, and be like, "Oh, I really want to put together this campaign." And Stephanie,
exactly.
Like, "Oh, no problem," right?
Exactly.
Great. Excellent. And then the second piece of that, you said people you serve do need to provide you with content, because the idea behind ManyChat is to get your content and value to the ideal client, right?
Exactly. So we'll talk about this a little bit later, but like it's really important to like the things that you can do with this tool are so amazing. So like we can deliver content in different ways. And so like having the opportunity to be able to test out certain pieces of content versus other pieces of content. And even if you have like a proven offer, having a proven offer also helps with the chat marketing campaigns. Sometimes I will get people who come in and they say, I have this brand new thing, and I think the chatbot is going to be it. I will say, like, if you have a proven offer, it really works better, because we don't want to just like the chatbot is really not for throwing spaghetti at the wall. It's really for like amplifying your current marketing efforts.
We just talked about this as it relates to Facebook ads. Same thing. Like Facebook ads and ManyChat are not going to solve a problem, or it's not a way to like test a product.
Exactly.
But it will help you scale something really quickly without a lot of effort on your part. So if something is working, ManyChat, which is what Stephanie helped me with, right? I put into Stephanie's lap a few things that I knew I would get engagement with and that were already successful, and we converted like crazy. Okay. Wonderful. All right. And then, so how do you serve people? So you have your ideal customer, you have your expertise. Now, how do you serve them? What are the different ways that you can serve people?
The main thing that I do is I build out the chat marketing campaigns for the client. So I'm actually, because I am a newer agency, I'm always trying to find different ways to serve people. So one of the things that, in addition to us building out the campaign, one of the things that I would like to offer in the very near future is an implementation specialist. So having the content is one thing, posting it is another. I know a lot of people don't have people to post content, or they may even get confused. And I want to be clear here. I offer support. See, you, Jeannie, like, you know how to do all this stuff, right? So I don't need to like really like kind of sit down with you and explain how to launch it. And if I do, then that's fine. But what happens is, even if I do have to do that, people still like, I feel like people really overestimate like what it takes to launch a ManyChat campaign. So they just don't understand. So I'll be bringing in somebody to actually do it for you. Just give us the content and we will do it for you. That way you don't have to worry about it.
all my members who are on right now, they're like, oh yeah, we've got plenty of content. We just got to,
exactly.
All right. So thank you for that. Now let's talk about what is ManyChat, and please, layman's terms. I think that, let me just tell you my story a little bit.
Sure.
Before I found you, and I did some digging, I think I found you on the ManyChat Facebook group. Somebody had recommended you, like, she is the best. I'm like, oh, I need the best. I need the best.
That's amazing.
But prior to that, I was just on Instagram, and there was somebody that I followed was hosting this webinar. Actually, I think it was ClickFunnels. I think it was Russell Brunson.
Yeah.
And he said, type in event or something below and get registered right now, like right now. I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And this was just a few months ago. Typed it in, and the automation that he took me through was like the coolest experience. I'm like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
This is great. And that's how these kinds of things happen, right? These things happen because you experience them for yourself, and then you want to implement them into your business.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned kind of from the consumer level, what is ManyChat. So if you could describe what ManyChat is from that perspective first, and then we'll look at it from like the practitioner level, the people who, have the account holder.
Sure. So in layman's terms, what I would say is ManyChat is a tool to help business owners and brands facilitate personal conversations at scale. So
that seems like wow, personal conversations at scale. Some people would say that's not possible. And I'm telling all of you here right now, it is possible. But tell us more about that. It's super interesting.
Yeah. So I always feel like such a nerd on these things because like I start getting ideas and I start getting like really excited about it.
Go. Yeah.
Like, okay, so, oh man. ManyChat is a robot, right? You're building robots essentially to respond to your DMs. And I'm not talking about like, how you post a piece of content on Instagram and then all those bots come out of nowhere and they're like, promote it on this page or promote it on that. Not
spammy.
Right, exactly. Not like anything like that. It's more like, hey, it's pull marketing, right? So people typically have to raise their hand and say, hey, I want this, and they will get a message. Or you can also set up auto responders and things like that, but there are ways that you can do it so that it doesn't seem as spammy. But ManyChat has the power. And when I say personalized, I mean beyond like first name, last name, and email and phone number. I mean, like you can ask someone, what's your number one goal for your practice and have them respond. And you can send them a personalized sequence based on that particular thing, whatever their answer was. Right. So, and you can set this up in various ways, but it's an extremely powerful tool. And the example I always kind of use for people who kind of want to understand like the frustration that a lot of robots and like, chatbots give you. It's like when you go, like, let's say you need support with something, right? And so they have like a little, live chat agent. So you go on the live chat and they ask you for your name, they ask you for your email, and they tell you, what's the issue, right? So obviously when people are coming to a live chat, they're probably, a little pressed, they're a little irritated maybe. So you give them your information. And then when the agent finally comes, they're like, hi, what's your name? What's your email? And what's your problem today? It's like, wait a minute.
Do you know what I do, Stephanie? Do you know what I do in that instance all the time? Here's a tip, everybody. I type in representative like 18 times. I'm like, representative, enter, representative, enter. I'm like, get me out of this miserable cycle.
Yes.
But that is not what ManyChat is going to do, right?
No. And experiences like that are not ideal. So like with ManyChat, you can focus on what type of experience do I want people to get, right? And even like when I'm talking to different groups of people about what ManyChat can do, they feel like, when you're typing out their messages, they have to be really professional and really stuffy. ManyChat is a robot, but you don't want it to sound like a robot. Like you want it to be like representative of your brand, right? So you can make it sound like you're not supposed to say things like I in the bot for legal reasons, but you want to make it sound like it's a part of your team. It's really an extension of you. So getting into the like more technical pieces, like just making, you're able to make your bot sound super personalized. You can customize your conversations. You can customize the customer journey. It's powerful.
And let me just say, you totally nailed it. And I don't think it was hard for you because I gave you access to a lot of things when we started working together. Mm-hmm. So you already had a really good idea of my brand voice. Now, for all of you who are joining me here today, who have completed any of my workshops, the Content That Connects workshop that we just finished, or you finished Nutrition Content Creation Academy, you know that before you do anything, including ManyChat, you have to understand who your ideal customer is, number one.
Yeah.
And then what is your brand voice? What is the tone? Do you use emojis? I do. So, are you a casual conversationalist, or are you a little bit more professional? So when Stephanie built out my first automation for my live launch in January, it sounded like me. And it was so cool. And I knew based on the responses that people, like some of the people responded like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like they were talking to me, like this bot is so cool, right? So ManyChat, in summary, and correct me if I'm wrong, but ManyChat is a way for our practitioners to deliver a higher volume at scale, not volume, value. So it is a way for our practitioners to deliver value at scale.
Yes.
And what that means, when I say at scale, it means that you can deliver pieces of content without doing all the work. Stephanie, before you were in my life, if I were doing, wait till you hear this. When I was doing a live event, let's say, I was doing a live event about nutrition and hormones, stabilizing hormones. Mm-hmm. People want the recipes for the event. I'm doing a cooking demo. And so I would say, type recipes below and I'll send them to you. And then guess what I had to do? I had to go back to that live event. I'm no lie. And I'm telling you, right? Hey, any of you practitioners out there, have you done that? Like, I don't know if you have automations in place or not, but practitioners who are on with me right now, go ahead and drop in kind of what you have done in the past, or send me an email or DM me. Like it was very, very time consuming. Look, I was willing to do it because I knew that I didn't want to just post the recipe because it was a high value thing. I wanted to collect emails, but I literally had to get their email and enter it into Active Campaigns, which is my email provider, and we'll talk about. So ManyChat is a way for practitioners to deliver valuable content at scale. So you're going to be able to deliver a high volume of content to more people without doing all the work. Is that good? Did I do a good job?
You did. And I wanted to add on one more thing.
Sure.
In addition to like manually sending out these messages, like I get it. You know what I mean? Like we've all been there where maybe we didn't know as much about automation or we didn't know what was available to us. So like, I totally get it. But we have to think about things and like how people act, right? And how they react to certain things. So when somebody DMs you, if you give them that call to action, they're expecting it soon.
Yeah.
There have been times where I've DM'd somebody for something and I didn't get a response back for days. And by that time I had kind of forgotten, like, well, what did I DM for? I don't remember, so having something like this in place, it just takes the stress off of you. Like you can set up your bot in so many different ways to where it's like, it's not like, okay, well, if I manually respond, first I'm going to say this. And then if they say this, and I'm going to say that. And then I have to invite them to the Facebook group after all of this is done. Like you can literally set all of that up in ManyChat.
So I don't know if you can see this comment. So here are a few comments that people are saying. Yep, I'm pretty much manual.
Yeah.
Yes, that was Sonia. This is Linda. Yes, applying manually to everyone. Oh yeah, been there, done that, Mary is saying. So yeah, listen guys, low barrier to entry here with ManyChat, and we're going to get to that. So I just wanted to note here, Paige Olson is on with us, who is part of the Living Plate RX team. She has dropped in a link to a Google Doc, like direct link, so you don't even have to enter your email address. Stephanie is being super generous. This is a very high value piece of content. This is a cheat sheet for accessing ManyChat and like kind of how you get started. But we are going to support you with that. But this is really, a great place to start. Download that sheet for you. Oh, hey, Paige, thank you for joining us. Okay, so that's great. So we now have a pretty good idea of what ManyChat is. Now let's dive a little bit. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just thought of something too. So also I want y'all to know as well, like, because I didn't mention the channels that ManyChat supports. So we talked about like what it is, but also you should know like what channels it supports. So it supports Facebook Messenger and Instagram DM, which are the main channels that I work in, but it also supports WhatsApp, Telegram, SMS, and email as well. So it's just, they're trying to become like an omni-channel tool versus just, because it just started out with Facebook Messenger. Then it went to WhatsApp, and then the big boom was Instagram. So yeah, just wanted to mention that.
And you can link it up. So Stephanie builds automations for me for Instagram and Facebook. But every time somebody doesn't have to send me their email, they enter it right there on their phone. It automatically gets sent to a list with an integration. It's not even a Zap. I think it's just an integration with ActiveCampaign. So can they use Zaps with ManyChat as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect. So it doesn't matter essentially what your email management service is. You can create a Zap to that. So somebody is going to go through your ManyChat sequence, as simple or as complicated as it is. You're going to get an email with a name, and then you can store that somewhere. Plus, you do have access to that. That person is opting in, like Stephanie said at the beginning of this conversation. People are raising their hand to say, yes, I want more information. They have given you permission to talk to them, speak with them. That is huge in terms of converting that cold lead into something warmer. So, then moving forward, even higher value exchange is giving you their email for a piece of content. And again, you get to save that. So they opt into the chat so you can, message them, but then you also have their email. Okay. So let me see. Allison is asking you a question. Let's just come here before we move forward on the next piece of our agenda. Does it integrate with Kajabi?
It doesn't have a native integration, but you can use a Zap to really connect it to anything. So I use Kartra. So Kartra doesn't have a native integration either, but I use it for that. If somebody does this, then I add them to this list. I start this sequence, and so on and so forth. So
do you build Zaps for people as well as part of this?
I do. I always ask my clients for their account information so that I can go in and build out something if I need to. Now, as far as like crazy, complicated,
just like the Zap part, I'm saying, our practitioners who are just getting started, they're like, let's just get one handout or one ebook out there. And they want to have it zapped to their email. You can help them with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. All right. So let's move on to why should we consider implementing it? Like, what are the main reasons, aside from delivering more value, that we should use ManyChat in our practice?
So one of the points that you kind of touched on earlier was talking about the low barrier to entry. A lot of people, and this is okay, I'll share a little bit about like my experience, like with the DMs in general. The DMs, everybody's direct message inbox is now, because of all of the restrictions that are coming from all of the other places that we're used to marketing, the DM inbox has now become the sales place, right? The sales club, right? Like everybody is going to the DMs to sell, right? I am somebody who believes in creating relationships. I don't think any of us like to be sold to where the only motive is for me to get or for them to get the sale. So ManyChat really is your opportunity to build relationships with somebody. And a lot of times when people get a DM, an unsolicited DM, they already know what's up, right? They know this person's trying to sell to me.
Exactly.
Right? But with ManyChat, people can, again, raise their hand and say, yes, I want this piece of content. And you're able to nurture and sell to them in a way that is not spammy, that doesn't feel gross. And it just feels safe because you've actually cultivated a relationship before you asked for the sale. And in addition to that, like we said, the person opted in. And this is not like your typical email opt-in, right? A lot of times people just kind of opt in and they're just like, it's kind of like a haphazard thing. You know what I mean? Like they're not really thinking about it. They just kind of opt in and like move on.
Right.
ManyChat is a lot more active than that. And in addition to that, speaking of email, the open rates and the click-through rates are way higher.
Oh,
like
can I share my first automation? I had an open rate of 70%.
Yes.
No, yes. Over 70%, and a click-through rate of 100%.
Yep.
Which meant that 70% of the people who opted in went further down the ManyChat, funnel. So like we're not talking small numbers here. Like if you get, what is average email open rate? Like 20% would be considered
and that's not even a reliable number anymore.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like floored, like shocked. I think I actually shared that with everybody in the last Friday email. So you should consider implementing it because it helps you, quote unquote, sell. It actually helps you serve, because with my community, Stephanie, we often talk about, serving is selling. The more you serve, the more you're going to drive sales. And for all of you who, again, have joined any one of my workshops, Content That Connects or Nutrition Content Creation Academy, you know what the sales funnel, right, looks like for pretty much everybody, but specifically for practitioners, right? That spammy email that's coming into your DMs, that's someone who's trying to get to the bottom of your funnel without, putting you into the top. They're trying to push you, like literally jam it down your throat, down to the bottom of the funnel versus nurturing you through a funnel. And so think of it that way, that this, ManyChat is an unbelievable tool to drive more people in a super gentle and with permission way to the top of the funnel. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you say that word gentle, like that's kind of what I was just thinking about, because I was thinking about like how, like with our messages, with our campaigns, whenever like somebody doesn't respond, but like things happen, right? And people may not respond for whatever reason. But like when you send a follow-up message, you don't want to be like, hello, where are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be like,
exactly.
But
not sure if you caught my last DM, but I have a special offer.
You can do it in a really gentle way, like you said, so that again, it's not coming off, I always kind of use language like, when you get a chance, or, at a time that's convenient for you, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that people don't feel like forced or whatever. So.
And I could see that at work in the bot that you built for me, right? So if somebody, got partially down the funnel, but then maybe they put their phone down, they did pick it up actually and continue on. So it worked out really, really well. I would also add, this is what surprises me. Well, it surprises me and it doesn't surprise me that more people aren't using ManyChat. So to answer the question, why should we consider implementing it? Another answer is because not many people are using it.
Yeah.
Which is shocking to me, because as you will see, Stephanie's actually going to show us a bot that she built, simple and more complicated. It's not that difficult. There's no barrier to entry. ManyChat does have a free level for like kind of a simple campaign for a certain number of opt-ins, so you can kind of test it. Yeah, I would say that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but most people aren't using it because they're intimidated by the technology. So I want, for all of my practitioners who are on right now, just type the word tech in if that's kind of one of your barriers here. Like if we could eliminate the tech piece of it for you, is this something that you would use? But just type tech in here if like tech has been a barrier to you using something like this. I want to see, kind of who's feeling that. But Stephanie, you brought up a good point when we were talking about it earlier, right? Like people think that they have to go all in, like build this most complicated, amazing bot. Like, is that what happens?
Yeah, it is. So ManyChat actually has a Facebook group for their customers. And, I'm obviously in it all the time, just kind of like, looking at posts and things like that. And you will see a lot of people who are commenting and they are sharing some really complicated stuff they're doing with their bots. Now, remember, y'all, I used to work for like the #1 chat marketing agency, and we didn't do any of that. Okay. Like, we didn't do any of that. So like everybody has their thing, but I feel like those conversations, those are the ones that I see the most. Either those conversations or people who are like genuinely like looking for support. But yeah, people see that and they're like, well, dang, I don't have any complicated automations to like, I don't know how to do that. So I think they get intimidated, they get scared, but really like ManyChat can be as simple or as complicated as you'd like it. And just remember, it does not have to be complicated in order for you to get results. That's the main thing.
So I went to that ManyChat group. I joined that ManyChat. Stephanie just went off camera for a second. She told me she might be doing that. She has a little bit of a cold. So I went into that ManyChat Facebook group. I was in there for maybe 15 minutes. What Stephanie just described, that's exactly what happened to me. I became overwhelmed because I thought, oh my gosh, I have to build out all of these kind of elaborate campaigns. And that's where I found Stephanie. Like, there's got to be somebody here who can help me. And I found Stephanie. I'm like, oh, okay. Like in the end, it actually isn't that complicated. But having an expert like Stephanie kind of support me through the process has been game changing. We do have a question which I'd like to address.
Sure.
This is from Sonia. Would ManyChat be something you would use around promoting a program or a cooking workshop? What other time would it be good to use it? All right, let's chew on that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I've got lots of ideas, Sonia, but go ahead. You go first,
Yes,
Stephanie.
100%, especially if this is like your flagship program or your main program or course that you're promoting. Having campaigns, and I'll show you what a campaign looks like in a minute, what a full-blown one looks like and what, a simple one looks like. But having some sort of evergreen campaigns for your offers that are continual, you definitely want to have campaigns for that. So anything, I want you to think about it like this. This is the easiest way I can describe it, right? Anything that you would build out in an email sequence or on a sales page, you can build in ManyChat.
I love it.
Same exact concept, literally.
It's well, you took my entire sales sequence,
Exactly.
which we're going to show everybody. It's going to blow your mind. It's like a map of the United States. It's so cool. It's so cool. But Sonia, what I'm thinking of, let's say you want to promote a live cooking demo, a free live cooking demo to bring more people into your funnel. You can use ManyChat to invite people to the event, but the bot can be built to deliver the recipes. How cool is that? It can also deliver reminders. We didn't talk about that, Stephanie, but well, actually, that's the next part of our agenda, kind of how it works.
Yep.
But Sonia, it will put people into this kind of beautiful sequence where they'll get everything they need, including a reminder to show up for the event. And then you can follow up with them later. Like, how was it? Here's a grocery list. It's just, you can build an experience for people who are showing up for this. So it drives just incredible engagement, and it will improve show up rates because people can opt into reminders. Almost everybody who signed up for my workshop opted in for reminders. So they got email reminders because they were on my email sequence, but they also got reminders on their phone. For my Content That Connects workshop. So, all right, was that helpful, Sonia? Let me know if that was helpful. We've got all kinds of ideas swimming around here for you.
Yes.
All right. So, how does it actually? I want to just address this for a second before we move on to how does the technology actually work. Is that okay, Stephanie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So how does it fit into our content marketing strategy? Inside our last workshop, Stephanie, we talked about Content That Connects and the different kinds of content that you need to attract, serve, and retain your clients. Now, attracting, serving, and retaining clients is basic business. Like, if you're not attracting, serving, and retaining clients, you're not going to have a healthy practice.
Exactly.
Right? So how can ManyChat help? And actually, we talked about this already, really, but just remind everyone, how can ManyChat help our practitioners attract their ideal customer avatar?
Yeah. So setting up a simple keyword campaign, meaning if you post an Instagram carousel, and on that carousel, you want people to comment a certain keyword so that they can get a certain piece of content, that's going to be the easiest way to implement this into your content marketing strategy. But I want to warn you, you don't want to just do it once and then say, oh crap, it didn't work. Nobody signed up. Do it a few times. Test out some different pieces of content. So maybe if you want to send a recipe first, and then maybe you didn't get the results that you wanted, or maybe not that you anticipated, but maybe you want to attract a different type of person now. So you send a video this time. Like, test out different pieces of content whenever you're setting up these different keyword campaigns. But anytime you are sending out any sort of exclusive content that you really want to kind of gauge, like, okay, this resonates with my audience, this probably doesn't resonate as well. ManyChat is a great way to do it, because unlike just people seeing your Instagram post or liking, it takes nothing for me to really like a picture on Instagram, right? But it actually takes effort for me to comment on the picture and say that I want X, Y, and Z. So you can test out different pieces of content that way. And I know the tech may be a hang up sometimes, but I'm going to say this anyway, because I like to nerd out about these things. But ManyChat is so powerful in a way to where it keeps tabs of who does what, as long as you set up the tracking in the bot. Meaning, if you send somebody a piece of content, you'll want to add a tag to that person that says, this person got this piece of content, right? So let's say now you're testing out another piece of content, and that same person DMs you again to get that piece of content.
Oh, wow. So you can even assign a value.
Exactly.
Like a level of like, is it cold, medium, or hot, right? Like, this is a hot lead. This person has opted into every piece of my content. So cool.
Exactly. So
Okay.
now, and I'll give you a quick example. This is so bad, but I'm actually really not that active on Instagram. My clients are, and that's great, but I'm really not. But for Instagram, you can actually set up, I can't remember which one I have this for. It's either story mentions or story replies. I think it's mentions. But if somebody mentions me in their story, the fifth time they mention me in their story, and if they're not a friend, and I have my friends tagged so that they don't get my automations, but but if they mention me in their story a fifth time, I send them, and this is a plan that I had a long time ago. I don't think I'm going to continue on with this, but I'll send them a message, a DM that says, "Hey, you've been sharing a lot of my stuff. Like, can we catch up on Zoom? Can we have like a coffee chat?" Like, that's a really great way to like foster real relationships with your community. And while you may not have the time for that, you can switch that out with something else. Hey, you've been sharing a lot of my content. Can we give you a free trial to our membership if you're not already a member? Or can we give you you know what I'm saying, like another cookbook or whatever it is? Like, you can really customize it in a way to where, again, you're fostering those relationships, right, and getting more of your content out there.
Amazing. I'm actually going to share my screen right now because I want to show how, I'll illustrate, operationalize what Stephanie just talked about. Let me just go here. Here it is. Okay. So in terms of how it works into your content marketing strategy, I did this reel to promote my live events. This was a live launch. So I had a lot of different posts I was experimenting with. Like Stephanie said, you want to experiment kind of your strategy, like see what's working. And this was clearly working because we got, I don't know, as to date, well over 100 people opting in. So that does two things strategy-wise, right, Stephanie? It's number one, I pinned this to my Instagram feed because this was the number one performing piece of content. So up it went to the top of the list. Right. It is the gift that keeps on giving. And this workshop has been done for 2 weeks, right? So that is the gift that keeps on giving. Every time somebody comments on any one of your posts, what happens, Stephanie?
If they just comment and you don't have anything set up, the comment sits there. But with ManyChat, they can comment and you can respond immediately with another comment. So that way the comment's not just sitting there. You can respond immediately with another comment, telling people to go and check their DM, because sometimes stuff gets stuck in the message requests folder, right? Once they go and check their DM, what does that do? That increases the open rate. That increases the chances of them actually reading through the message and going forward with whatever we're asking them to do. So,
and the Instagram algorithm loves it.
Yes.
Right. So the more comments you're getting on a post, Instagram is going to recognize that as valuable content. It doesn't know what you're doing. I mean, does Instagram algorithm discriminate against bots or no? To them, it's just another comment.
Instagram or ManyChat is actually an official partner of Instagram.
Okay, so I guess not.
Oh, yeah, ManyChat is fine. If you're using another software, then it may not. I don't really know how that works, but yeah.
But the idea is you're driving engagement. People are putting comments. There's an automated response, so there is an immediate reply, and so the algorithm is going to see that as favorable and show it to more people. So it's kind of like a snowball effect, right? Yes. So you're starting with like this little ball, but then it keeps pushing through the snow and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just, again, the gift that keeps on giving. So I will keep experimenting with different kinds of content, but by far the video content has seemed to do really, really well for me. Let me just hide this now. Okay.
And I would even say like video, but reels in particular. Yeah. Reels are big. And then I guess now the Instagram CEO has come out and said they're about to start prioritizing photos again. So
yeah, carousels, right? Well, yeah. Okay. So let's just show one more example here. I have, okay, here's another one I'll share. And this, I actually built this bot myself based on one that, actually, no, I'm sorry, Stephanie, I apologize. I think you built this one. Let me just share the screen again. Okay, so this is a carousel post. And I actually think I created this because I was like, oh, now it's funny. Instagram comes out and says, this is popular. This is not like whatever. Like you try and respond. But I'll test it out and then I'll share it with you guys, my
Right,
community,
right.
right? So this worked out really well. So this was, and now I'm going to be doing this every week. So every week, all of you know, I put out a Friday email 3 times out of the month. It is about, a topic in best practices for private practice, marketing, sales, all of that. And so that was unlock your content marketing potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to read this email, the instructions, because you need to tell people what to do,
right,
to type chat. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. This actually led to, this was it. So to read the full email. So my open rate on emails like this is almost 50%, but that means that 50% of the people aren't opening it, or maybe there's somebody who's not on my email list that I want.
Exactly.
Right. So experiment with different forms of content to see what's going to work as part of your strategy. I think that's kind of the overall message here. Yes. Did you have anything to add there?
Absolutely. Okay. Different pieces of content, and also different forms, different pieces of content in the sense of your Instagram posts, but different pieces of content also as far as like recipes, videos, etc. Now, I will say with the Instagram automations on just a regular video, because we talked about this before, Jeannie, I think if it goes past a certain time limit, that it doesn't automatically turn the video into a reel. So if you actually have like a video on your page, like the automation actually won't work. Okay. Unfortunately, because I don't know why it doesn't work, but it won't work. So just throwing that out there.
Okay. All right. That's why we need experts like you to guide us through this. Donna is saying, I love this concept of delivering value and serving my ICA this way. Sounds like it will save me so much time in place of creating landing pages.
Yes.
You actually can use it instead of landing pages. Honestly, if it works for you, if doing this on social media works for you, then you probably don't have to create the landing pages.
Yeah, I do that all the time actually, because I just don't have the time to always build a new page. So I do that all the time.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to get into some of the details here on how the technology works. So we're going to do a little bit of show and tell. Is there anything that you would want to kind of take our viewers through right now verbally before we do a show and tell, or do you want to just kind of share your screen and take them through it that way?
Yeah, I'll share my screen because I think that would make the most. I think once you see like the
perfect. And as we're going through the technology piece of it, the build. So Stephanie's going to show us a variety of builds. She has built a variety, and we've only been working together for like 3 weeks, and she's just like crushing it. Because they're working. So I'm like anxious, I'm DMing Stephanie on Saturday. I'm like, please don't respond to me. It's a weekend, but ... I'd love to do this. And so thank you for being so responsive.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to share your screen? Because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and share.
Wait, I'm going to remove this. Okay, there it goes. Okay.
So
this is, wait. You have to, I'm going to remove that. You need to make it a separate tab. It just needs to be a dedicated tab, not the tab that StreamYard is on.
Yep. So I'm going into a new window. So hang on one second.
Oh, okay. It's going down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah. Hold on. Could you see? Uh-oh.
Paige, could you drop in that link again, please? If you wouldn't mind. Paige is going to be dropping in a link into comments right now that will give you access to a cheat sheet, a ManyChat cheat sheet, super packed with value that Stephanie so generously is offering to everybody. So go ahead and get access to that. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is so fun. I just love this.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this the one that I built or you did?
So this is, I'm actually not sure. Okay. It's a later one though, whatever it is, it's a later one.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about how it works. And what I'd like you to do for our guests in our kitchen today is to treat it like a recipe. I want you to step by step, like what are the ingredients, right? So let's talk about what do you need to have in place before you even get to this point.
Got it.
You alluded to it at the very beginning, like your ideal client needs to have this, 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 and this. But when you and I first started talking, like the strategy for the bot, what are the things that you need to have in place first? What are the ingredients?
Yeah. So the first few things that you're going to want is first you need a ManyChat account that's set up, and there's instructions for that in the cheat sheet.
Perfect.
And you need your whatever channel you're going to be using, it needs to be connected. Again, those instructions are in the cheat sheets, but either Facebook Messenger or Instagram.
Or both, right?
Or both.
It was very easy. I mean, I did it with like 3 clicks. So,
Yeah,
okay,
it's not hard.
perfect. Okay.
And then you're going to need to select your piece of content that you, or whatever your goal or your objective is for the campaign, you're going to need to have that selected.
Okay. So let's use Sonia's idea, for example. Let's say I'm going to be doing a live cooking demo. What kind of a ManyChat, like what would I build?
Okay, so one could be like this that we're going to go through here. It could also be like the next campaign I'm going to show you.
Okay, well, we can align it then with that next campaign, which is more event based.
Okay.
This is the content drop. So can I share with everybody kind of what my objective, what my ingredients were?
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So once per month, members of my community, the Living Plate RX community, they receive content drops every month. So January, February, March, all year long, every month you get a content drop. A content drop is content that is white label, evidence-based white label content that you get to edit for your practice. And my practitioners who are in my community like to know kind of what content is going to be hitting my library ahead of time. So I send out an email to everybody, again, about a 50% open rate, where, and I pick up some more when I resend it to people who haven't opened it, but certainly not 100% of the people get to see what content is coming because they either miss the email or whatever. So this is another way for me to serve and retain my existing clients, because it's just another space where they are, maybe they follow me and they'll see this and they'll be able to receive the content drop, the email that outlines the content drop. But it also allows me to attract, serve, retain. It allows me to attract people who don't know about Living Plate RX. Like, wow, what's a content drop? Let me open that. And then, because we've had plenty of this happen, they open up that email and they're like, wait a minute, I can get access to all this content? And the answer is yes. So that has my objective is always to attract, serve, and retain. This pretty much does all of that. And the only thing that I really needed to provide Stephanie was a previous email that kind of outlined the content drop and what it was, and a link to the content drop. So, all right, now you can go, Stephanie. Those were the ingredients. So now let's talk about the instructions, like how to. Where does it start?
Yeah, so every flow starts with, and this whenever we're looking at like our ManyChat work in its entirety, this is a flow. You'll hear me use the word campaign, but you'll also hear the word chatbot. The chatbot is really the whole thing, the whole machine, but really those 3 terms are really can be used interchangeably. They really mean the same thing. But every flow starts with some sort of trigger. One of the main things people ask me is, well, how do I get people into the bot? Because they just don't understand, like, how do they show up in the bot? How do they get this? And it's the same as anything else. You need a trigger, right? Just like you need an opt-in form or a call to action of some sort. It's the same exact thing. So here, every ManyChat flow starts with a starting step. And you get to add a trigger. You can have multiple triggers for one flow because you may have different, ways that you want to get people in. But if you go here to this button, add trigger, and then go to Instagram, it will give you the different options that you have for Instagram. So as you can see here, we have the Instagram keyword as well as the Instagram story reply. So an Instagram keyword is when somebody directly DMs you. That's actually why these stats are like this, Jeannie. I just thought about that. Okay. We normally do like when people comment, then they get the flow, right? So the stats are going to be there. We'll tell people every now and then like to DM us or what have you, but most people are going to comment. That's like the easiest way to get people in. But Instagram keyword is when people directly message you. And the story reply is when people reply to your story with the keyword. And ideally, when you're doing something like that, you want to create a story specifically for whatever your goal or objective is, and tell them to reply to your story with the keyword. Our keyword is content. So if somebody were to directly DM us the word content, then they would start this flow.
Or in comments, correct?
Say again?
Or in comments?
Or in comments.
Right,
so
okay.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of nuances to ManyChat. And here, when people come in, we add in tracking as soon as they come in, and you can't do that with comments. You actually have to have everything. As you can see here, I have this so that I can easily duplicate our campaign. You have to put everything in one box, which really isn't ideal. And you'll see another button up here that you need to click for comments. So the setup is a little different.
All right. Paige, if you're on right now, can you please drop the link to Stephanie's special offer? So as we're going through this, I know what my practitioners are thinking. Like, and guys, and I'm going to show you right now, I'll do a screen share of what automation this was, like what it looks like on your experience side. But Stephanie has put together, I'm like floored. I was reading through it. I'm like, you sure you want to do this? And Stephanie's like, yeah, I'm going to deliver so much value. So Stephanie is going to be offering for the first 50 people who sign up. So if you're on with us now and what you're looking at, you want to do with Stephanie, holding your hand through the process, like literally you guys will build a simple bot together with Stephanie for $37. Like, I can't even believe that. And you're going to get access to Stephanie in her Slack channel for 30 days. So Paige is going to drop in that landing page. You can read all about Stephanie's special offer. I didn't want to wait until the end, Stephanie. I'm sorry, because I know what my practitioners are thinking. They're looking at this like, this is game changing. They know it. I know it. And they want to do it, but it's going to start like by the time you get to this third piece, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, help me, please. So for $37, I mean, Stephanie is an expert. She needs to get paid for her time. So I wasn't going to ask her to do it for free, but this workshop, when is it, Stephanie?
It's going to be next Wednesday, February 15th at 1 Eastern Standard Time.
And there will be a recording. So for some reason you cannot make it and get on the workshop, there'll be a recording and you get access to Stephanie for 30 days. So do it. And then look, after you do that workshop, if you decide you want to build out a more complicated one, you can hire Stephanie to do it. She'll have all different kinds of ways that you can work together. But I think this is a great start. So again, thank you so much, Stephanie, for putting that together. Can I share my screen now? I do want to show everybody what you're, I'm just going to remove that for a second. You're going to have to share your screen again in a second. All right. Can everybody see that? Okay. We do have a question. Let's see here. How long will the workshop be?
So the workshop's going to be an hour, and I know some people are probably thinking like that's kind of short, but what I'm going to do is you're going to get your template before the workshop along with walkthrough videos. That way, if you have a question before or after, and you'll get this before the workshop too. So if you have a question, you can come to the workshop with your questions. You'll also, like I said, get 30 days of Slack access to me. And you'll also get a portal where I'm going to house like some additional resources for you that kind of contain some nuances when it comes to dealing with ManyChat. So you'll have access to that as long as you sign into the portal. So.
Okay, this is great, like crazy. We're seeing sign me up. I want this. Yes, please. All of it. This is great. Somebody does have a great question. This question comes from Elif. Is it for unlimited contacts? So I guess that depends on if you have a paid or a free account. Is that correct?
Yeah. So you definitely need a a paid account in order to do some of the things that we're going to be talking about to really like unlock the power of ManyChat. You can do simple things with the free ManyChat account, and we can talk about that on the workshop too.
Perfect.
But yeah, the paid version is really what you want to do. And your amount of contacts depends on your bill.
How much is it?
I pay $25 a month, and I think that's for up to 2,500 contacts.
Okay, I think I pay less. I haven't gotten to, because I just started. But you can start. I guess the answer to that question is you can start with the free, and then you can just move on to the paid. If this tool is going to be as powerful for you, the practitioner, as it has been for me, you'll spend that money monthly to get because it's just such a cheap way to get people into your funnel, and it's a great way to create know, like, and trust, and attract, serve, and retain, like all that stuff. All right. So before you share your screen again, I just wanted to show everybody what this content drop looked like. So I created this video, this graphic. Now, this is a video. It is not a carousel. So it did transition over to a reel. It was a Facebook post, It was in Facebook as a post, but also on Instagram as just a single video post, now a reel. And then if you scroll down here, you can see people commented. Now, the reply, Instagram loves it when you get comments, and they love it when you reply quickly. So guess what? Stephanie built the automation so that they got a quick reply, run to your DMs. I just sent you a message. Go and check your DMs. I just sent you something. You had other ones in here. You mix it. I think we put in like 6 or 7. I'm not really sure. And so all different kinds of options just to make it a little bit more personal and reflect your brand voice. And so we had, people accessing the content drop this way. And I'm telling you, there are people who entered this automation who were not members, had no idea what we were. They're like, content drop, what's that? Saw it and DM'd me. I want more information. Sales have been made, right? And it was so organic and beautiful. Like, I just loved it. Okay. So go ahead, Stephanie, you can share your screen again. I'm going, sorry that it kind of bumped you out.
No worries.
Let's see, we have a question here. Okay. We've had a bunch of people sign up already. So you're running the workshop, Stephanie. You're on. It's going to be next Wednesday. You are on. Yeah. All right. What if I'm not very active on social media yet, but I want to get into it? Would it be too early to register for this workshop?
No. And here's why. There's some simple things that you can start out with, but you'll also have access to the template, which is going to be, you can access that at any time you want, but you're going to have access to that template. And then when you're ready, you can build out something or just customize the template when you're ready for something a little bit more advanced. But you can always get started with just simple flows. It really is just about like fully understanding what ManyChat can do for you and your practice and just getting some things in place. The things that we're going to build, you guys can duplicate. And if you're somebody who's like not tech savvy, then, maybe you would need something a little bit more, but these are going to be things that you can use over and over and over again, and that are going to be evergreen campaigns. So I would definitely say if you could at least come in and sit in and listen to the workshop or at least the replay and go through the walkthrough videos, I think it would be super beneficial for you for sure.
And what a better way to get more active on social media. I think, exactly. What Stephanie had said at the beginning is that you have to be willing to engage. If you're not willing to, engage people on social media, then you probably shouldn't sign up for the workshop. But because you're here for this event, I'm assuming that you are interested in growing your following and engaging people on social media. So yeah, I'm just, again, floored by the impact that it has had on my engagement and conversations in DMs. My husband's like, you're on your phone a lot. I'm like, honey, I'm working. Literally, I'm working. I am not scrolling. All right. So let's share your screen again. Let's go back to the automation here.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So again, we're starting everything with a trigger. So our trigger is our keyword here that we've set up. When you come in here, you'll see like how you can set it up, right? Pretty simple and straightforward. And then what we want to do, like, you don't have to do this, but ideally, again, just like an email, if somebody clicks on a link in your email, you want to know who clicked because you want to see like who's the most active. So we're going to tag people that come in with a few pieces of information. So we're going to tag them and say, hey, they received this content drop. We know that they're an Instagram subscriber. We just want to tag them with that. And then also, and that's just a general practice I have for my clients. But also we want to capture the date and time that they subscribed. And the reason why we want to do this is because this information is going to go over to a Google Sheet if we push it there. In this particular one, we're not. But in our other more complex campaigns, we are. But ManyChat doesn't capture that information. So like you may want to know like, hey, how many people subscribed to my bot within the last month? You know what I'm saying? So like you can kind of look at that data and see.
Excellent. We do have a question.
Sure.
Is the workshop recorded in case you can't attend it at that time? That question is from Susan. Hi, Susan. Hi, friend. Yes, absolutely. It will be recorded, and you will even receive additional support. You'll be able to communicate with Stephanie via her Slack channel for 30 days to get support. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And so really people don't see this part. This is just like an internal part of the campaign. What they'll see is this message, right? So we just, introduce the content and say, get excited. It's time for the February content drop. We tell them a little bit about what it is and basically why it will benefit them. In the DMs, you want to kind of like get to the point fairly quickly because you don't want to lose people's attention. So we let them know we're here to support them. We have what they need. And then we give them the CTA to download their content drop. And the reason why is because anybody can kind of like comment or what have you, but we want to really make sure that people who are coming in here are really interested. So they have to click on this button in order to get the actual content drop.
Again, they're giving you permission.
Exactly.
They're giving you permission to continue through your experience.
Exactly. And then when they tell us like, hey, I want the drop, we say, okay, here you go. Click on the button and get your drop right now. And then they'll click on that. And then we also give them a tag if they actually clicked, because we want to know who actually clicked. Some people will say they want it, but they won't click in to get the stuff.
And remember, in the one campaign, that the earlier campaign that I looked at, 70% of the people completed the first step, and 100% of the people completed the campaign. So if people were getting hung up on that last step, then maybe the campaign was too long, or you have to change your copy. Like that is data that informs how you can change your flow. Correct, Stephanie?
Exactly. Okay. 100%. You always want to look at that and see like, should I word something differently? And even when we dropped this, we found that there was something like just kind of an issue with the copy. And so we had to, redo the copy a little bit. So those are things that you want to pay attention to for sure.
Yeah.
But here's the cool part, right? So like after they get the drop, and they don't even really have to like click on this per se. You could do it to where you only send it to people to click or that click on the drop, but we send everybody into like a push to the membership. Basically, like you showed us some sort of interest in this. So we want to see, would you like to join the membership to get more? You're going to get X, Y, and Z in the membership. So that's what we do there. Now, really quickly, we also want to include like abandonment messages, which is basically where if somebody does not respond to our message, we just want to send them a quick message. It's like, hey, are you still there? Like, so we send them a quick message here if they don't respond after a certain amount of time. But really, like, this is a super simple campaign. It is step one, track the person, track the lead some sort of way, get some data. Number two, share why this would benefit them and get them to confirm that they are in fact interested. Step three, send them the actual item that they asked for and then tag them if they click on it. And then four, we want to send them to something else. We want to take them higher, right? We don't want to just leave it at the content drop and that's it.
So we have two questions. Sure. And this is great because you're showing us an Instagram automation now. Typically you build the Instagram automation first and then you do it for Facebook. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because somebody is asking, does this work on Facebook or only in Instagram?
It works in both.
Perfect.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Next question. I love this, Connie, that you asked this question because you remember Stephanie just said there was an issue with the copy. So when I'm like, Stephanie, we have this content drop. Can you, build out this automation? So can you just expand out that middle piece that explains what they're going to be getting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. It may not be in this one. It's probably in this one right here. Did you do the post comments one?
Okay. I think I have to fix this one. I didn't fix this one yet. All right. Note for us. We got to fix that one.
Maybe
all right. So Connie, that was the issue with the copy. So, you're going to run the automation and then you're going to realize maybe there was a mistake in the copy. Maybe what you're delivering is not exactly what you told people they were going to get, which was what my problem was. So Stephanie had created the first content. I read through it quickly. I'm like, yep, it's good. But then somebody's like, well, wait, you're telling me what the content drop is, but I didn't get the content drop and they weren't a member. So I had to reframe the copy.
Right.
So now it's telling them that they will be able to read about or view what the content drop is. It's not promising them a content drop. Does that make sense, Connie? So for people who are coming into the automation who know nothing about Living Plate RX, I had to be a lot more specific about what they were getting. They were actually getting access to a list of what the content drop was, not the actual content.
Yeah. And that that kind of stuff happens all the time, honestly, because the way that we interpret something may not be the way that somebody else interprets it.
Right. How do
So,
you know? Sometimes you're like, you can't be in everybody's head all the time. So
yeah,
yeah.
I was just about to say, sometimes you just can't anticipate things like that. It just happens. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just have a conversation. It's
Yes.
a free piece of content. So you have a conversation with them and then we
Yeah.
fix the copy and we move on, you know? So
Exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Anjo is asking, can we get a copy of this flow chart? So that's going to be part of the workshop. So yes, in the workshop, Stephanie is going to help you build is it going to be very similar to this?
it's gonna be maybe a little more complicated, but
Okay.
we're
Well,
gonna
good.
have
That's good.
lots of support. But the thing about it is, guys, like there's a lot of nuances in ManyChat that if you are not familiar with them, your campaign is not going to run the way that you need it to run.
And this is specific to my business and my brand. So
Right.
simply copying this flow chart is not going to be helpful. I don't think, unless you're, one of my competitors, then maybe it would be helpful. So if any of you are watching, so if you are a practitioner, you're definitely going to want to set it up a little bit differently. And that's what that $37 workshop is for.
Yeah.
Paige just dropped the link in comments. So go ahead and you can register there. And Stephanie will take you through building something similar. And she's saying a little bit more complicated. And listen, just because it's complicated on the back end does not mean it's complicated for your ideal customer avatar. Is that correct, Stephanie?
Right. That is correct. Okay. So let me show you this one really quickly.
So I can't even see it.
Yeah, this is our registration flow for people who came through content that connects.
And look at that.
This is honestly massive, but literally it takes somebody probably a minute to 2 minutes to go, if that, to go through and this isn't even all of it. All of these tabs up here is one campaign. So yeah, it could be, and we're not going to do anything like this complicated. Like this one is more like giving people more information, asking for their information, confirming their information. There's integrations involved. There's pushing info to Google Sheets. There's considering different experiences or where people are.
Can you blow it up? Could you just blow it? Sorry. Could you just blow it up a little bit more? We're not going to go through step by step, obviously. So what Stephanie is saying is that this automation, as complicated as it looks, takes my ideal customer avatar 1 minute to complete on their phone. They just, yes, opting in here. I have a question. They get to ask a question. So there's a lot of different redirects here. But this automation all leads to the outcome that I needed, which is people needed to register for content that connects, and it worked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's also a lot of setting up systems in your bot too. So your bot, ManyChat, unfortunately, like you would think that, if you ask ManyChat to like collect somebody's email, that it would like kind of like easily save it for you, or that it would let you download it later when you need it. But they don't do stuff like that for you. So you have to have systems in place, which is things that we have all of these types of things set up through here to make sure that you're getting, this is organic traffic, but you're still paying for the software, and we need all of the data that we can get. So,
So Christy is saying, kind of laugh out loud, that this does not make ManyChat look so easy. And this is not what you're looking at right now, is not an automation you want to build by yourself.
Right.
This is something that you have Stephanie build for you. But what Stephanie is saying, like, this is complex, but it's pretty common. And again, for my ideal customer avatar, it's just like, a minute of clicking and entering information. It's not a whole process as long as it looks here. It's not a whole process, a pretty seamless experience. So you're not going to be building this on the workshop. You're going to be building something a lot more simple to get, a relatively easy outcome, like delivering content or getting a registration or something.
Right. And let me just share, like, this is the type of stuff that people see in the ManyChat group where they're like, oh, I don't want any parts of that. But again, like, let's go back to this flow. Honestly, this flow, let me show you what this could look like. This flow, when somebody says, hey, I want the content drop, we could send them straight to this message.
Wait, you're not changing my flow, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Don't publish that.
No. But listen, it could be this simple.
Look, one step.
The DM, right. And you say, here you go, click on the button below to check out. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it could be that, and that's it.
Okay, look at that. Can you guys do that? Can you raise your hand in comments? Raise your hand in comments. Either say me or do a raise your hand emoji if you can do this. I know you guys can do this.
Everybody on this call.
Everybody on this call can do this. And, you know, for $37, you're going to get Stephanie's expertise in helping you do that. I mean, you can build something really, really simple. As that, yes, we saying me, Natasha, great, Natasha, simple, me, baby steps, me, perfect. Yeah. We're getting a lot of enthusiasm here, Stephanie. I love it.
It's literally all about baby steps. Can I just share a quick story? So
when I
started, before I started working for School of Bots, we had to submit, you know, like a test project, right? So I literally put my foot in that project. Okay. I knew I did so great. I just knew it was so amazing. And then when I started working for them, I was like, oh,
that was nothing.
It was so funny, but really, like, my point is really like, my husband says this phrase. He says it's a country phrase. We're from Georgia. He says there's multiple ways to skin a cat. So basically, like, that's not a very, I don't know, that sounds weird saying it out loud. We say it to each other, but like, there's more than one way to do things. Right. So that flow, how I just showed you, like, let's just send that one message. It literally accomplishes the same thing as all of these things. We just don't have some of the bells and whistles, and that's fine when you're starting out. It doesn't always have to have that. But if you have a template, and I'm not trying to be like, you know, but if you have a template or something to guide you through these types of flows easily, why not get the bells and whistles if it's going to be something that's beneficial to you, your business, and, you know, growing your business. So,
and improving your client experience.
And your
right. I mean, you're going to look like Stephanie's going to make you guys look like such pros. And it's just, think about it. So for everybody who's on this call and everybody's hanging around, this is super cool, Stephanie. Everybody who logged on is still with us, which is amazing.
Awesome.
So think about other Instagram accounts that you follow, you know, you're scrolling through, like, you do see this occasionally, but it is definitely not being used to the extent that it should be. And so you are really, again, it's been around for years, but you can consider yourself getting in early if you can get one of these simple bots built, and you will experience an immediate reaction. Like, there's no way you're not going to, especially if you're already very active on social media. Milena is saying that's enough to make it worthwhile, because following up with everyone can be a lot of work. Yeah, I've done it. Exactly. I've built like real, and I actually think it's still in the library, like a Zap automation. Like, what happens when you do a live event and you want to send somebody your recipes? That I'm going to take that out of the library, because you shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing this if you're doing a live event. And imagine that, Kathy, I know you're on here, Kathy Levin and Sonia, you guys do cooking demos all the time. Imagine doing a cooking demo and you have to look into the camera and say, drop the word recipes below, and you will get immediate access to the recipes that I'm demonstrating today. You're going to put them into that automation. They're going to be excited because they'll have the recipes. And then you're going to continue the conversation.
Yep. And you don't even have to go back. If anything, you may want to go back and make sure that everything went through, you know, but that's like the maximum. But ManyChat takes care of everything.
Yeah. Sonia is saying game changer. Sonia, I knew you would be excited. Kathy is saying, yeah, it's really, it's just going to, again, so it saves you time. Yeah. So it's going to save you time and therefore money, because every hour you spend kind of messing with this manual, you know, labor of like putting email addresses from here to there. So it will eliminate that, but it will elevate your client experience. And it, again, that know, like, and trust, you're just going to look like a real pro. And I love that. I love the whole idea of this. So, okay. Somebody's saying, Sonia is saying, I just need to get more comfortable on Instagram. Yeah, but this is a way to do it, right? Because you're just continuing to add more and more and more value. People are going to be okay with, you know, whatever your live event is, if you're delivering tons of value. So don't be so worried about being like perfect on screen, like just get it done and deliver value. We have another question. I just need to get more. Oh, wait, you already said that. Okay, we have one more. Let's see here. I want to do some research to understand the details of how to implement it on my social media. How long do we have to sign up for this workshop? I want to be prepared. That's a great question. So, Stephanie, could you just remind our guests right now, what do they have to have in place before they come to the table on Wednesday?
Yeah, so you need to have your ManyChat account needs to be set up, and there's details for that in the cheat sheet. Your Facebook and Instagram profiles need to be connected, and then you need to come to the workshop with an idea of like what you want to promote. But also, when you sign up for the workshop, I give you some pre-work to do, so you'll have a chance to look at the template. You'll have a chance to get sign up for reminders, get access to the Slack channel, but I also give you some of the resources that I give to my clients. So basically, like if I have a client who has trouble understanding, like how can they use this, like truly, how can they use this for their business? I have a whole example or examples deck on how you can use this in your business. So I give you like real time or screenshots of previous clients or people that I've worked with or people that I've worked for of examples of how they're actually using it in their business, so you can kind of get clear on all that. So you'll
Right.
get an example or access to that, as well as some sample strategies too that I also only give to my clients. And
So much value. So
yeah,
much value for $37. Paige, can you please drop in that link one more time, the landing page for Stephanie's workshop? That is for our community exclusively. It is for practitioners
yeah.
who are in our community. Whether you're a Prime member or not, you will have access to this workshop. The first 50 people who sign up, because after 50, like it gets to be a bit much. Is it a Zoom call or
Yeah,
is it
it's gonna be
okay?
a Zoom meeting, and that's why
Wow.
I offered also the Slack support, because some people may not be, they may catch the replay, they
Yeah.
may still have questions and things like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
and it's we'll see, but I mean, I like to I don't know, I really just like helping people. So
Okay.
depending on how many questions
Obviously.
you have
Yeah.
and engagement, if we need to do like an extra work session or something, I'm
Yeah.
always down for that. I love helping people
So
out with
great.
this
So
stuff. So yeah,
thank you so much. So we have a couple of questions before we leave.
sure.
Is there a way to use ManyChat with my contact list? So I guess the question Natasha is alluding, what she's trying to say here is, can I take like my email list and push them into a bot?
That is a great question. So, the only way to do that right now would be to do that through a ref URL. So, in ManyChat, they have things called growth tools, which is like the keywords that I just showed you. Those are called growth tools as well. You can actually create a URL to get people from your email list into your chatbot campaign. So, yes, you can do that. But again, that's pull marketing. So, whoever decides to click on the link, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then those people are going to be in your bot. But you would probably definitely want to go ahead and try that out a few times. You don't want to just push it out like one time. You
Yeah.
want to go ahead and do that a few times so that you can get enough people in there or whatever's adequate for you.
So what that looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what that looks like is, Natasha, you can email your list to say, and with this link, this reference link that allows them to opt into
Yep.
your chats and your chatbot, right? You can't just, you need permission, which is,
Yeah.
it's good. Like you want that. You want people to say yes, raise their hands, because again, you don't want to be perceived as spammy. So
Right.
once they click that reference URL and they opt in to your chat, then you're good because they've given you permission. Okay, so we have Allison has a question. Give us some ideas of a great first campaign to start with. I'm thinking of recipes, but what else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
100%.
thinking?
Hmm.
You know what I'm thinking, Stephanie? Maybe before the workshop, you and I can just put our heads together and say, here are kind of, and maybe you could even start building out some simple flows. But here's some 3 simple ideas that I
Yeah.
know, flows that I know my community would be interested in.
100%. Yeah.
Obviously, delivering recipes. I don't know that opting into like a weekly newsletter, because that's kind of like not
Yeah.
exciting, but
Right.
I'll
I
think
would
of content that they can use. Does that sound good?
Yeah, listen, this is what I would say. Whatever it is that you want to offer, it doesn't matter like what kind of content it is, position it as something exclusive that they can only get in the bot. That way, people feel a little
Mm.
bit more inclined to opt in, right? Like
Oh,
if it's
yeah.
something that they can get anywhere else or they've seen somewhere else, like that you've promoted it somewhere else, then it's probably not going to be as effective. But if it's like, hey, I'm only offering this in the DMs, you have to DM me this keyword in order to get it, then doing that is probably going to work well for you.
Perfect. So we'll do that. What I'll do, and Allison had asked that question. What I'll do is I'll reference the content calendar for February, which you guys all have access to now. You have this content calendar that's in the library. So I'll reference that and kind of get some ideas. I think something for Valentine's Day although this will be after Valentine's Day, so probably not, that's probably not going to work. But I will look at February also. By next week, you're going to have access to March, because Paige, thank you so much. Paige, who's on with us right now, is really cranking it out. So you're going to have access to the March calendar by next week. So you can actually plan ahead. So take a look at your March calendar, and Stephanie and I will do that too. I'll pick out some kind of key things that you can build a bot for, but you can select, changing the content inside of the bot is really easy. Like, you just swap out a link. Like, it's not hard. So just, knowing that you're going to be delivering either a piece of content or an experience, because those might look different, is what's important. Somebody's asking a question. I think it was Susan. Do you need to have content ready to promote?
Ideally, yes. But again, like having, once you build out the template or the bot, the flow, whatever we want to call it, you can use it whenever you're ready. It doesn't have to be. Now, what we do want to do is launch it as soon as possible, because that's how you get the momentum going. If you build it and then it just sits and then you forget about it, like you're never really going to see like the power of ManyChat. You know what I'm saying? So ideally, we want to have something to promote, but you don't need something elaborate. It just needs to be something, literally.
Yes. So Susan, just pick one piece of content from your library that just make sure it's high value, that your ideal customer is really going to, want to get their hands on, because if it's a high value piece of content, they're more likely to opt in. Okay. We have another question here. Allison is asking, when they opt in, we add them to our email list, and then they can be on our email list for our weekly newsletters. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Crazy, right? Does that sound like a good flow? I send out a Tasty Tuesday email each week with a CTA at the bottom. What do you think, Stephanie?
100%. That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea, is whenever somebody opts in, we want to collect their email or their phone number or something so that we can continue to be in contact with them. Because again, nuances, y'all. Chat actually, I'm not even gonna say ManyChat. Facebook and Instagram don't allow you to contact people after 24 hours of them interacting in your bot. Meaning you have to continue to engage people so that they can you can continue sending them messages, right? So we need to, as quickly as possible, after we give them whatever it is, or before we give them whatever it is, collect their information, send it over to our email list so we have everything in our CRM, and we're good to go. So yeah, so that sounds like a great flow. What I would say, Allison, is when you're building a flow, I wouldn't just say opt in for my newsletter. I would give them a piece of really juicy content that you've delivered in your newsletter in the past, and then say, want more? I'll send you, you already have their email address. So just say, watch your inbox. I'm going to be sending you some more Tasty Tuesday bits or whatever, something like that. But, make sure that it's not just give me your email address and I'll opt you into my newsletter. Exactly.
Like, you need to give everybody does that.
It's played. Yeah. Just asking for the email address only is played. Yeah. So you definitely have to do a little bit more there.
Deliver the value. Deliver the value. Okay. Oh, lots of ideas. We've got lots of ideas coming your way. Yes. Somebody's saying deliver the juicy content first. 100%. So what do you think, Stephanie? You think our practitioners are going to love this, or what? Like,
I definitely do. I can tell by some of a lot of the questions that we're getting are typical questions that I have from clients, or whenever I'm doing different trainings. I really think that getting like an inside look and having access to some of the resources that are available in the portal that you're going to get are really going to like help you understand exactly how this works. And I think I may even I may have to see if I have a campaign walkthrough video that I can use yours. If I still have yours, maybe they can check that out so they can kind of see and understand. Yeah.
Keep on piling on the value.
Exactly. Because it can be a little intimidating, but it's a super powerful tool, and it's way easier to use than it looks. So yeah, I don't want anybody being intimidated.
And once it's running, it's running. And also you can duplicate campaigns. So once you've built out this campaign with Stephanie, she's going to show you how you duplicate it and deliver a different piece of content for a different post.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you can just like kind of keep it going until you're ready to bring Stephanie onto your team to build out an elaborate flow like she did for us. So if we don't have any other questions, we're going to sign off now. I so appreciate your time and delivering all of this value. Where can people find you, Stephanie, and Paige, could you drop that link one more time? Aside from signing up for the workshop, where can they find you?
So you can find me. I'm actually kind of incognito. So
Oh, you're the best kept secret. I love it.
So, I mean, I'm on Instagram
Okay.
at _marketing with Stephanie. That's my Instagram handle. So you can find me there.
The landing page. Go to that landing page.
Yeah,
Right? That's
you
okay.
can visit the landing page. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the workshop page has dropped that, but also automateyourigdms.com is another landing page that I have. So you can find me there also.
Okay. So, and if you guys have any other questions, if you're watching this as a recording, you can feel free to tag Stephanie because she is in our Facebook group, or you can tag me and we'll make sure that we get your questions answered. Everybody's saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Martha is saying, repeat the page again. So can you drop that landing page in one more time, Paige? That'd be great. Oh, she already did. Okay, perfect. Lots of ideas are coming your way. I can't wait for this workshop next Wednesday. First 50 people are going to be in, are going to experience something phenomenal. So thank you, Stephanie, so much for your time. And we will see you guys in the kitchen soon.
Awesome. Thank
All
you,
right,
everyone.
take care. Bye.